We are just 8 days away from Denver Broncos training camp officially kicking off for veteran players. And right now, the Denver Broncos only have one kicker on the roster, and that is Elliott Fry, who they signed following the release of Brandon McManus. Now, with Elliott Fry, he is a very unproven commodity in the NFL. So if we come over here and look at Elliott Fry's stats, on his career, he's 5 for 6 in the regular season on field goals. He appeared in one game in 2020 as a COVID replacement for the Atlanta Falcons. Then he appeared in 2 games in 2021, one for Kansas City in relief of Harrison Butker, and one for Cincinnati in relief of Evan McPherson. In 2021, on those 2 games, he went 4 for 5 on field goals with a long of 44. I believe that one was with the Chiefs. And then extra points, he was 4 for 5. On his career, he is 5 for 7 on extra points. So overall, man, Elliott Fry is just a completely unproven commodity at the kicker position. Now today, an option actually became available for the Denver Broncos should they want to give Elliott Fry some more competition, and that is Michael Badgley, who was recently released by the Detroit Lions. The Lions needed to clear a roster spot after they traded for Denzel Mims, and the Lions ended up reuniting with their former kicker Riley Patterson, who they traded for from the Jacksonville Jaguars, which ended up making Badgley expendable. So if we come over here and look at Michael Badgley's stats, he's probably best known for his 3-year stint with the Los Angeles Chargers from 2018 to 2020. That was certainly the most successful stretch of his career. He was 52 for 65 on field goals in the regular season. That's an 80% field goal percentage. Then on extra points, that's where he's been particularly clutch throughout his career. During his 3-year stint with the Chargers, he was 82 for 86 on extra points, a 95.3% PAT conversion rate, which is really, really good. In fact, on his career, that's been a stronghold for him. He's got a 96.9 PAT conversion rate. Last year with the Lions, he was 33 for 33 on PATs, and that is actually an aspect where I feel like Brandon McManus was starting to decline a little bit in terms of consistency. He was missing PATs on a little bit more of a frequent basis in his last few years in Denver, and that was really to his detriment, and that was to the team's detriment as well, because that ultimately played into why they cut Brandon McManus. Also, his production on place kicks was declining as well. Michael Badgley definitely had a bit of a rough stint in his last year with the Chargers. He then bounced around a little bit from Tennessee to Chicago to Indianapolis. He kind of bounced back in Indianapolis. He went 18 for 21 on field goals in 12 games, and he had once again a perfect PAT conversion rate, 39 for 39. Last season in Detroit, 20 for 24 on field goals, still a pretty solid 83.3% conversion rate, and he was again 33 for 33 on PATs. So I feel like the PAT conversion rate for Michael Badgley is why he has developed the reputation as the Money Badger. That's obviously a play on Tyrann Mathieu's nickname. But Michael Badgley could have the leg up on somebody such as Elliott Fry in an open competition. And I feel like Sean Payton, unless he is really confident in Elliott Fry as the Broncos' Week 1 kicker, is going to bring in at least somebody to give Elliott Fry a bit of a push and give him a chance to legitimately earn this job. If the Broncos go out and sign Michael Badgley and Elliott Fry beats him out in an open competition, then that's one thing. But right now, I feel like there is a much more proven player on the open market, and the Broncos need to give him a look. Now, one knock on Michael Badgley is his inconsistencies from 50-plus yards, which was a problem for Brandon McManus as well. Michael Badgley on his career is 5 for 13 on field goals from 50-plus yards out. He does have a career-long field goal of 59 yards, which he hit in his rookie season with the Chargers. He did hit a 53-yarder last year with Detroit. Last year with Detroit, he was 2 for 3 on field goals for 50-plus yards out. So the Lions didn't really ask him to make a lot of those long-distance kicks, and here's hoping that the Broncos won't have to make a lot of long-distance kicks this year either. But if they do, I do worry about somebody like Michael Badgley's consistency in terms of long distance kicks, and same with Elliott Fry. In fact, I don't believe Elliott Fry has ever attempted a kick from 50 plus yards out, so that's really something the Broncos need to keep in mind here. The Broncos, I do feel like it was the right decision to move on from Brandon McManus, but I feel like we could have been a lot more better prepared for that decision. We should have addressed the kicking position in the draft. We could have addressed it earlier on in free agency. And now we're left with Elliott Fry as our tentative week 1 opening day kicker, and probably our best option in terms of an insurance policy is somebody like Michael Badgley. So overall, Broncos country, I feel like the team is in a little bit of a pickle at the kicking position, and it's really, really tough because our best option out there right now is probably Michael Badgley, and he's still not the most consistent kicker in the NFL. Brandon McManus definitely had his flaws, but if it was between releasing Brandon McManus and leaving us in this really kind of crappy situation, or keeping McManus for one more season, I almost feel like the Broncos would have been better suited keeping Brandon McManus for one more season. That said, though, his release did free up some money to make some other moves, such as the Frank Clark signing, so I get why the Broncos did it. It's just really tough because kicker is a critical position in the NFL, especially for a Broncos offense that may depend a little bit heavier on the kicking game. I hope that's not the case, but if you're going out there with somebody who's really unknown as a kicker in Elliott Fry, I can't go out there and not be concerned about that. So I'm curious, Broncos country, do you guys feel like Michael Badgley would be a good option to potentially push Elliott Fry in an open competition for the kicking spot? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. All right, guys, we're getting so close to training camp. I cannot wait to get out to Centura Health Training Center, get my own 2 eyes on this Broncos team, see the overall team dynamics, see how Sean Payton and Russell Wilson work together, see what kind of changes Sean Payton has implemented. It's going to be really, really awesome to finally get that fix of football here in the Mile High City. All right, guys, and until next time, it has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.